Okay, hello. It's finally time. I wanted to do this for a longer time. Once, well spoken once again. Um, I wanted to make this short video about this channel and what it is all about and how it's going to look like in the future. I started around 2018, I guess, or 19, buying and selling used guitars in Germany. Within Germany, still in Berlin. Because I had a job before I studied economics, I had this completely senseless job where I was just sitting around basically, and that kind of drove me crazy. And I was still young, I didn't have kids, and I thought just try something kind of. Jumped into cold water and tried to make a living of, dealing with used guitars. And naturally, when you, I guess many of you can relate. When you buy low price used guitars online or somewhere around in your city, you end up with something that actually needs a lot of work. I didn't know how to do this work, so you got an old guitar, you see it has a crack, you have to go to a luthier and pay 50 bucks, 30 bucks to get it repaired. Or the nut is still way too high and it plays badly, so go to luthier, set it up. That costs money each time, and of course you get the idea of why don't I do that myself? And that's how things kind of started out. To properly work on a nut, you need nut files, and they cost a certain amount of money if you want a good ones. But after a few guitars, you should have it back in. So this is how things started. At the start, it was more like setup work, and then you get an old guitar, action is super high. Then you research, okay, have to take off the neck, put it back on. Of course, first time you take off the neck and put it back on, it fails. But next time you know why you failed, and next time it's already better. And after 10-20 times, you kind of get into a territory where you know what you're doing. And now I reset more than 100 necks certainly, and I walked into all the traps and fixed them, and I know how to do it without breaking anything. There's always a small risk when you do a neck reset, but it's one of those things that you have to practice a lot. And that's what I did the last years. Every old Eutin or Framos or whatsoever I could get my hands on, I refretted, reset the neck. You can't really make them perfect, because that would mean more work than building an actual guitar, and they have a certain value no matter how good condition they are. So I did that to learn all this stuff, and it meant a lot of work, and it meant a lot of work that you won't get a lot of money for. And I was aware of that, and I still did it because precisely I wanted to learn all the things. But this, you can't keep that up for too long. And I'm at the point now where I feel, especially since I have small kids and a family, that I have to shift my focus onto a higher price instrument kind of, because the average Höfner jazz guitar for 500 bucks just leaves no room for perfection or for putting a lot of time into it. It's just no way you can live of it. But the longer you do this kind of work, working on guitars, the more you develop an eye for problems that guitars have, and the more time you want to put into the guitar, because it can be done, you know how to do it. Oh, there's a scratch here, I know how to fix that. Yeah, you can, but no one pays you for the time at the end. So you have to draw a line with this old instrument somewhere, and my line is kind of, I give them a neck reset if they need one, I give them new frets if they need one. I look that the tuners work all right. They're old tuners, there won't be new groovers. If you change the tuners, people complain that the guitar have non-original tuners. After all, a player and a collector have very different ideas of what a good state means. This is one of the traps you can walk into. So my point is, where was my point? Yeah, I'm just free talking here. My point is that I'm gonna shift the whole attention of Guitar Harbor, what is basically me, more towards spending more time on you know, the instruments that I sell, and then having a instrument like Gibson or whatever that has a certain name where people are actually willing to pay for that time. I still will work on Hofners and Framos and this German guitars, certainly, because I know them very well and I know how to fix them, but I will, you know, reduce it, certainly. I think there's vintage guitars, there's some guitars like, for example, Gibsons, they're overpriced sometimes, while a Höfner can be maybe underpriced sometimes, but still, you know, usually a Höfner won't reach the level of a Gibson, but every guitar is a unique piece, and if you can lay your hand on a guitar before you buy it, it's always best. But with this rare vintage guitars, the chances are just that you won't find it in your area around it, so you kind of have to trust the shop where you buy the guitar that it will be in good condition. And this is, I think, the most valuable thing a shop has, and I am looking to keep that. And if there's a problem with a guitar within a year, and you're in the EU at least, sorry, this is just how it goes, then you can always return it, or I will fix that problem. If you don't like it, you can give it back. I'm not interested in bad blood or anything, and not every guitar is for everyone all the time. So that's why I like to make short videos and showing them how they sound like and that everything works in general. You know, don't trust online dealers too much. Do your own research when it's important to you that everything is original. Do your own research, what it means that a guitar plays good. You know, a certain action is 3.5 millimeters on a classic guitar would be a very good thing. 3.5 millimeters on electric guitar would be a very bad thing. You kind of have to inform yourself a bit, or ask now ChatGPT or something like this. I guess it could help. Anyway, there's not much happening at the moment in my channel here because I'm working on some longer term projects and I'm building some electric guitars. Since I'm building my first electric guitars, it's gonna be Telecasters. It's very fitting. But it will still take a few months till they're done, and till then I still have a Gibson restoration video coming up in a few weeks or months. You never know how long those take. This is a really dreadful experience once again, because it needs all the jobs that you can possibly think of. So I thought it's gonna be good for video, but it takes a long time because it involves changing the rotten celluloid binding. For people who heard of that, too much now. Anyway, so to come to an end, I hope that I can somewhat establish a trustful image of myself out there, because I am one of those persons. I really like to spend most of my time actually either playing the guitar or working on them, and I don't want to become one of those online media guys that spends half of the time with online marketing. These YouTube videos are kind of the only marketing I do, and I probably should do more, but I hate it. I love playing guitar, I love working on them, and I like or enjoy doing these videos once in a while, because they're kind of real, and I feel like I don't have to be someone else that I actually am. But I'm not a fan of this whole online business after all. I am an online business, but I'd rather be a shop, because I think if I would have a shop, people could take these instruments in their hand. They would sell actually better. But as I can see it, most shops are closing, so I'm not sure if that's a good idea to open one now. Maybe in 10 years when there's absolutely no shop left. We'll see. Anyway, any last words here? This is the instrument I worked on now. I don't know really what it is. I just messed around with this, like adding the pickup, adding a transducer under here. So you can blend the kind of piezo or the transducer sound with a humbucker, and you can split the humbucker. Yeah. It's a fun guitar. Action is a bit too low for the cone still, it's not done. And when I'm done with the Gibson restoration video, I will probably do a video where I transfer old parlor guitar into a brand new resonator guitar with a new fretboard and all this stuff. Nice pickups, truss rod, reinforcements, la-di-da. But it will still take months, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching. I just wanted to say hello and give a quick update to the few people who actually click on this channel once in a while. And yeah, I think I should have done that a long time ago, but better late than never. Okay, see you guys.